48 million barrels allegation, Mr. Chairman, let me state on record, and for the benefit of Nigerians and the committee, that the allegations relating to the 48 million barrels are baseless. The allegation is unfounded, is lacking in merit, and indeed lacking in substance. It is, in its own right, the allegation devoid of any reasonable ground pointing to a material suspicion and cogent enough to invoke the constitutional oversight of the committee. Why do I say so? Mr. Chairman, sometimes in 2016, allegations were rived and hyped in the social media. There were allegations of existence of stolen 48 million barrels of Nigerian crude oil in China, said to have been valued at 2.4 billion. The President Muhammadu Buhari, informally requested the Attorney General, making reference to my humble person, Mele Kyari, former DGSS Lawal Daura, and late Abba Kyari, to look into it and advise. But unfortunately, Mr. Chairman, for there to be a reasonable ground for suspicion, at least you require certain basic facts. If you are talking of a product, you cannot establish the substance relating thereto without confirming the origin of the purported product in China. If you talk of a product in China, is it of Nigerian origin? That can be established by way of sample and specifications. Is it Bonny Light, for example, which you know apparently emanates from Nigeria, or what is it? The basic details of the existence of the product and connecting it to Nigeria was not there at all. If you are talking of a product, a vessel perhaps, that has taken it, what are the particulars and details of the vessel? They were not available at our disposal at all. If you are talking of apprehension, confoundment in China, which authority is it that had indeed taken custody of the product? No information at all. So, Your Excellency, Mr. Chairman, the issue is simple. Yes, I'm elevating your position for the purpose of it. Yes, the information is simple. There were no reasonable grounds for suspicion of the fact that the purported oil product either exists in spirit or in fact or indeed exists in China and is in no way connected with Nigeria. And all efforts on our part to get details had proven abortive. So it was a committee that was dead on arrival because it has not been formally constituted, and then our informal findings does not suggest or provide an information that could now support. So we could not, Mr. Chairman, establish the substance in the allegation because detailed information to confirm the existence and origin of the shipments, such as sample of the oil, vessels involved, loading point, etc., location of the crude in China, etc., were not provided. So we reported to the President that we were unable to confirm the veracity of the allegations, hence no further action was taken by my office and no trip whatsoever was embarked upon to China, of which the Attorney General was a party. I wasn't a party, I wasn't aware of the existence, I wasn't aware of the formation of any formal committee. Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning is the coordinator of the whistleblowing policy, and all payments to whistleblowers are made by the Federal Ministry of Finance, Budget and National Planning, and it is a pole position to provide further details. It is to be noted that the whistleblowing thrive on confidentiality and protection of information. Therefore, disclosing the details of the whistleblowers at a public hearing breaches confidentiality provision of which the Office of the Attorney General was committed to arising from the whistleblowers on account of their personal security and the national security. So arising from that consideration, I have taken pains to develop the information, taking into consideration the confidentiality element of it, but then providing same for the consideration of the committee exclusively. For the information of the committee, the Office of the Attorney General do not maintain the custody of an account. All accounts associated with the recoveries, generally speaking, are being maintained by the central bank and are being often on the request of the Office of the Attorney General and then open on the directives of the Office of the Accountant General. As far as being a signatory or in any way being responsible in the management of such accounts is concerned, the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation is in no way connected whatsoever. So whatever information that may be required as it relates to the details of the signatories, details of the management, details of the disbursement associated with the account, I suggest that the Federal Ministry of Finance, the Office of the Accountant General, and the Central Bank are the exclusive custodians, managers, and the operators of the account, and not the Office of the Attorney General for record purposes. So the Office of the Attorney General does not have at its disposal a single account relating to the management, operations, and coordination of the recovered asset, in respect of which disbursements are being exclusively carried out by the Office of the Attorney General. That answers question 6. So what I'm saying in essence, reference on details, signatories, disbursement, associated information on the asset, recovery accounts should be routed to the Central Bank, Office of the Accountant General, and indeed the Federal Ministry of Finance, that are the operators, maintainers, custodians of these accounts in question. Is to give you an idea of what recoveries were made within the period of 6 years by the Office of the Attorney General. And all these recoveries, not a kobo relating thereto, is in the custody of the Office of the Attorney General. So, for example, for the purpose of refreshing your memory, the Office of the Attorney General was instrumental in 2017 in the recovery of $322 million. Where is the money? The money was lodged into the asset recovery account of the federal government, open at the instance of the Federal Ministry of Finance on the request of the Office of the Attorney General, maintained by the Office of the Accountant General, in whose custody, in CBN's custody. That money was not there, not an account being operated, maintained by the Office of the Attorney General. Again, in 2020, the Office of the Attorney General was instrumental in the recovery of $311.4 million from Belwick, Jersey, US and UK. That money was lodged into the asset recovery account of the federal government, being maintained in the central bank, often at the instance of the Federal Ministry of Finance and the Office of the Accountant General. Nobody in the Office of the Attorney General was a signatory or responsible for the operations and coordination of the account. Again, there was equally additional amount of $5.4 million recovered in 2020 from Northern Ireland relating to Abacha. The same amount was lodged into the asset recovery of the federal government, being maintained by the Office of the being maintained at the central bank. Again, there was additional sum of 4.2 billion pounds recovered relating to James Ibori, not lodged in an account maintained by the Office of the Attorney General, but maintained at the central bank. Again, we equally recovered additional amount of 20 million recently in August 2022 known as MECOSTA, lodged where? In the asset recovery of the federal government maintained at the central bank. Again, we equally recovered additional sum of 954 pounds from illicit funds linked to DSP Alamesia. It was equally lodged at the account. I will make copy of that submission available as well, if it is not part of what you have. So what I'm saying, in essence, for clarification purposes, for the purpose of setting aside any ambiguity, in case any has set in as to considerations associated with recoveries, is no account is being maintained in the Federal Ministry of Justice for the purpose of recovered asset, and all the monies recovered at the instance or by the office of the Attorney General by Federal Ministry of Justice were indeed lodged into an account maintained with the central bank, in respect of which neither the Attorney General nor staff of Federal Ministry of Justice is a signatory.